Whether you're watching, listening or reading this, welcome back to the Runpreneur blog, where we're on a mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days the distance of one lap around the world. It is a staggering 40,075 kilometres. It's going to take somewhere in the region of 11 years to accomplish, so plenty of time to raise that money. I'm going to commit to running a minimum of 5 kilometres every single day whilst vlogging, and I'll even do it barefoot style. So for those regulars will know when I vlog about my passions, which are entrepreneurship and running, and most importantly how these topics link together to help people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise as a release mechanism. Now it's a beautiful morning today, sun is shining, not too much wind, so lovely running conditions, maybe a little bit on the warm side, but I can't complain. And it is Wednesday Wellbeing today, where we talk about all things mindset, mental health, well-being, and today's topic is how to make your team happy. So as always, please support the challenge by subscribing to the content, give it a like and a share, and let's get started. So, the $1 million question of how do I make my team happy? How do I get them on side? How do I get the best from them? These questions come up again over and over again when we talk about people in any team, but I'm mainly referring to your team in your business, just for the clarification of this episode. And it's a difficult one, this, because with people, they're one of the three main pillars in growing a successful and scalable business. The three pillars that I'd always talk about is number one, in no particular order, number one, systems and processes, number two, people, and number three, data. Okay, so the people are a significant third of the three pillars to grow and scale a successful business. And the problem with people is that they're so complex. You know, each and every person will have their own agenda, they'll have their own goals and ambitions, their own journey that they're on. And your role when you bring people into your business is to try and align everybody together and sync everybody together, synchronize them so that everybody can pull in the same direction, to leverage the power of people, to leverage the progress or expedite the progress that your company's going to make. Okay, so I actually found a relatively straightforward solution to this problem. How do I get a happy team? There's a few stages here. First and foremost, I've talked a little bit about this on other episodes, but one of them is how you recruit them, okay? So not how you recruit them, but during the recruitment process. First and foremost, you need people in your team that are in alignment with your company values. So if you haven't got company values already, get them listed down, okay? Really, really important for people to kind of understand what your company values are. Now, if you've created them, it's highly likely that these company values are going to link or sync with your personal values. Okay, so this means that they're going to be people that you're going to personally have good alignment with. And what you're trying to avoid here is people that have a conflict with what your values are. So it might be that one of your highest values is, you know, having time for family and friends. Okay, and really important. But you get somebody in who just is so fixated on driving the business forward, that's going to be a misalignment, because you're going to get other people in the team that want to create that lifestyle environment whereby they can work to live rather than live to work. If you have somebody who's living to work, then they're going to resent the people that aren't working as hard, and the people that are not working as hard but spending more time with family are going to resent the people that are putting the pressure on to drive the business forward. So that's just an extreme example, but ultimately you want to get a team of people that are all aligned by values, okay? So that's point number one. Point number two, I've talked about this as well. If you have anybody in your team that develops, you know, any form of negativity in their attitude, and this evolves and gets worse and worse and worse, so they become a negative contributor of your business, then that's a telltale sign that it may be time for that person to move on, because negativity spreads like wildfire throughout a team. So keep an eye out for negativity. Secondly, if there's anybody who breaks your trust, i.e. the integrity that they have is questioned, their loyalty is questioned, their trustworthiness is questioned, again, it's a telltale sign that it may be time to move them on, because you need to be able to trust the people you work with. Really, really important. Okay, so they're the first two things that you need to keep an eye on and be aware of when you're recruiting people. So the next thing, how do we make people happy? It's really easy actually. Just ask them. Okay, it sounds ridiculous, but I recently had a meeting with the team, the whole team in the company. Well, not a whole team, the remote team in the company. So I meet with the people in person who are UK based, but everybody who works overseas for us, and there's about 10 of us. I pulled them all into a meeting, so we're all in a virtual meeting room, and I said, right guys, right, everybody's happiness is so important. What is it that makes you happy? Okay, and we just went around the room and we said, look, this is an open and honest, trustworthy forum here that we're creating. So you can speak openly and honestly. You won't be judged, there'll be no negativity. There's no such thing as a wrong answer here. It's ultimately what makes you happy. However big or however small, doesn't matter. And we went around the room and everybody had different things that made them happy. But so many of them had simple things that we could easily create and build into the environment of the company. And one of them was, virtual social events. It sounds, it takes a while to get used to a virtual social event, but we're in lockdown, and what I hadn't taken into consideration is that in the UK here we're kind of coming out of lockdown now, so we can pretty much almost go back to kind of a bit of a normal life. Whereas my team in the Philippines and in Bangladesh are still at the thick of lockdown. Okay, so their mental health is being tested to the extreme where they're locked up in their accommodation or home or whatever, and not able to mix and socialise with people. It's hugely damaging to their mental health. So what came back a lot was having virtual social events where it's nothing to do about work. It's just a coffee and a chat and a catch up in an environment that isn't just geared around work. So really simply, we've integrated that into the routine. So every few weeks we have these, or whatever frequency they want, we have these virtual catch-ups where it's all paid for and everything. They can just sit on a virtual meeting and just chat, enjoy each other's company and talk about whatever they want to talk about. And that in itself made a big difference to a lot of the team members. Another one wanted social gathering when we're allowed. So we're going to start putting some money aside to a social gathering pot. It's a little bit more difficult when you have people all over the world, and there's a much bigger cost associated with it than if we just had everybody working in the same country. But that's what people want, so we can start planning for that. That's not going to happen overnight, but in a year or two we'll be able to do that because we're planning for it now. And basically we took a list of what makes everybody happy. One person said plants made them incredibly happy, and being surrounded by greenery. So you know what? We'll put some money together and we'll put a little bonus plan in place to reward that person in plant vouchers or whatever to enable that person to have what they want in their business. And there's two sides to this, because I did this for working out bonus schemes as well, but this wasn't about monetary aspects. This was more about happiness. Okay, because we're building out a bonus scheme at the moment, and we wanted to know what people's goals and ambitions were, so that we could build a bonus scheme that could hopefully support those people in the team to kind of achieve that. But that was geared a lot more around money. This meeting wasn't. It was geared around what makes you happy. Now, yes, there would have been some things within that would have been monetary. I mean, another one that was brought up was with healthcare. In the Philippines, you have to pay for your healthcare. You don't have the NHS. So, again, we're looking at ways and means that we can provide infrastructure to allow everybody in the team to have their healthcare paid for. It's so important. But the interesting part is that without having this meeting, I wouldn't have known all these things. And just these little things that are so easy to do and to set up, but just as easy not to do this, okay, it can make a monumental difference to the happiness of your team. And it was a really enlightening meeting from my perspective, because what it allowed me to understand is that a lot of my team aren't fixated on money and wealth. They're fixated on the little things in life which can make such a difference. And it was really, really rewarding to know that, 80% of these things that have been suggested, we can do this. We can give these people that have been so important to building the businesses and helping me kind of on the journey that I'm on. I need to help them back. And little things, just like arranging the regular social events, is massive. And that's why it was one of the most enlightening experiences I've had in my journey of business. Just having a happiness meeting and asking everybody in a open forum, what would make you more happy at work? What would make you more happy outside of work? You know, just asking these questions and seeing what answers you get, and you'll be amazed how many that you can easily support them with. Because people automatically think, if I ask these questions, it's going to be all about money. It was quite the opposite, because I know we're in COVID pandemic and money can be tight for many of us, but having these discussions allowed us to realise that there were so many other ways that we could help contribute to people's happiness levels. And if you can do that and you can make someone's life that little bit better, why wouldn't you do it? So that's pretty much it from today. But the moral to the story is, first and foremost, you need to get a team that is aligned, okay? We talked about company values, personal values. Once you have that alignment, you can then move towards identifying any negativity or lack of trust and loyalty in the team and how you want to deal with that. But then when you're happy with your settled team, then it's about keeping the happiness level where it needs to be. And to do that, have a happiness meeting, maybe once a quarter, maybe once every 6 months, and just listen. Ask the question, take notes, and then try and implement as many of the suggestions that the team have given you to make the working and outside of working life more happy. If you do that, you'll have a happier team, you'll have a more productive team, and it's a much more enjoyable experience. So that's pretty much it for me today. As always, if you've got any questions on this stuff, drop me a comment and I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger topic, I'll do a separate vlog episode and tag you in. Please do check the links in my bios where you can find out more about my challenge of raising £1 million for children's charities by run blogging on consecutive days, the distance of 1 lap around the world. And all it's left to say is that the content I blog about has always been how it can link to help people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise, in my case, run blogging, as a release mechanism, as we all experience daily, weekly pressures in the form of stress, okay? And it's how we deal with these pressures and these stresses that can often dictate how successful we are in life, in whatever success looks like to you. And if you don't have a release mechanism for kind of processing all these stresses and pressures, what's happened, gaining clarity, refocusing, clearing your head and moving on, okay, you get too many things fill up in your head. It's like pressure building in a pipe. If you don't clear these stresses regularly, they'll evolve into overwhelm. When you get overwhelmed, pressure goes up a notch and you're ultimately got too many things going on in your head. You almost have a seizure, or you freeze because you procrastinate because there's too many things going on. You don't know what to focus on next, and then before you know it, you can drift into the realms of panic and anxiety, where you're flirting with the edges of mental health related issues. Now, clearly we want to avoid that, and in the example of pressure building in a pipe with no release valve, eventually the pipe's going to burst, and in that scenario you have a mental health breakdown. And believe you me, I've been there. I wouldn't want to wish it on my worst enemy. I've lost businesses because of it, I've lost business partners, and I've almost been bankrupt because of it. And it is a horrible experience that I would never ever want to experience again. And my pledge to you is that, you know, there's no coincidence that in the last 12 months of doing this running vlog, which is my release mechanism, I've made more progress in all facets of my life than I had done in the previous 5 years before doing this running vlog. So hopefully there's enough social proof there that this stuff works. But also I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs over the years in previous businesses deal with exactly these issues. So I'm pretty well qualified to help with this. So my pledge to you is, if you're someone who's struggling with this, drop me a message and we'll get you a step-by-step guide, or we'll jump on a call in extreme circumstances to kind of give you a step-by-step guide and a process for finding your release mechanism and getting you back on the right path to success, to whatever that looks like to you. So help is available. It's often free. You just have to be prepared to ask for it. It's often easier asking a stranger than nearest and dearest. So take advantage of that if that's something that's going to help you. So that's pretty much it for me today. I'm just going to pass someone. Morning. So that's pretty much it for me today. So as always, I'll leave you with stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow.